Good morning, everyone. Oh, I'm used to hearing our bells. Rick Finneran is away. Ding, 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 ding. That's the best I can do for you. Welcome to First Unitarian Church in New Bedford. I am Reverend Karen, and I minister to this congregation as we minister to each other. We are a people creating beloved community who believe that everyone is worthy of respect, that science is real, that the democratic process is a sacred thing, that we are all part of an interconnected web, and the light and energy that we put out makes a difference in this world. We are people of purpose here. And if what you hear today resonates with you, we hope you'll consider becoming part of this way cool community of seekers and keepers of this beautiful dream that is our church. If you would join us for coffee hour after the service, we would love to see you and chat. If you are new here, go ahead and fill out one of these fancy blue forms you can find in your pew. And if you will put your phones into worship mode, that would be convenient for everyone. And as you know, we are live streaming this morning, as we do all the time. Good morning, all of our live streamers. Glad to have you here. And we will begin by lighting our chalice. Come on down, Brody. Oh, is that so? Our chalice lighting words this morning are from Maureen Killeran. Let us look first to the response of love. In these hard times, let us look first to the response of love. In the midst of challenge, may our chalice flame bear witness to the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. Let us, in the midst of uncertainty, may our chalice be a beacon of encouragement, that our values may guide our choices. Let us look first to the response of love. And our opening words are from Reverend Gretchen Haley. For this one moment, know only that you are loved. Know that you belong here, here among us, here upon this earth. In your body, however tired or broken your heart may be, whatever fear and disappointment and anger you carry. For this hour, know you are not alone. Feel the presence of others surrounding you, breathing beside you and with you, discovering together the way our voices rise and fall in harmony, in hope. Claim here a resilient freedom, the choice for love, for light, to live with joy and gratitude and praise as a form of resistance. Already we are organizing, church. Come, let us worship together. And if you will join me now for our opening hymn, number 298, Wake Now My Senses. Let's do all the verses.
Feel the deep power of being in
take the time to say good morning to one another. All right, and now let us read our covenant together, which is printed in your order of service. We come together as a religious community, upholding freedom of conscience, right relationship, and the inherent worth of all people. We value our diversity and pledge to care for one another in the spirit of compassion, to speak and listen to each other with respect, and to promote justice and kindness in the world. Yasmin's gonna tell us a story.
I have Mari and Morning here to help with the story today. And our theme this month is Liberating Love. And I show a clip in my classroom to high schoolers called Lois Furryberry, because it's from a little girl who wrote her teacher a note, and the teacher couldn't figure out what Lois Furryberry meant. But I'm going to tell you, Lois Furryberry is love is for everybody. And that's how third graders spell it. I am love. This is a book of compassion, and as I was reading it, I also realized a lot of the words in our covenant are represented in this story. I am love. When I see someone going through a storm of hurt and unfairness, of anger and sadness, and when the sun disappears and the skies grow dark, and I see there is fear, and I ask myself, what can I do to help let the light back in? So I put my hands on my heart and listen, and that's where I find the answer. I have compassion, and I act with tenderness. I am love. I can listen and not say a word. I can be there. Love is being present. I can hug and hold and say, everything will be all right. Love is comfort. I can speak softly and choose my words and actions carefully. Love is gentle. I can give thanks for all I have and am able to share. Love is gratitude. I can keep my mind and body safe and healthy. Love is taking care of myself. I can express what's important to me. Love is creative. I can know that no one is perfect. Love is understanding. I can do my best to make things better when something is wrong. Love is effort. I can celebrate those I've loved before. Love is remembering. And I can find goodness in a kind word, a helping hand, and a shared smile. Love is tiny gestures. I can breathe in the air that the whole world shares and know all creatures are made from the very same stardust. Love is connection. And when the clouds roll in for others and for me, I know there is something I can do. I can let my heart lead the way. I am love. You are love. We are love. And with love, we will weather the storm and light up the sky together. Because we are UU New Bedford. Love. We are now going to go to Sunday school. May words we say be kind and true. May love be a God in all we do. May peace be with us in your heart and together while we're apart.
Now is the time in our service where we share with each other our joys, our concerns, our sorrows. So if you have something you would like to share, please come on up and tell us what it is.
Good morning. Brennan and I have a little bit of news to share. I'm pregnant, so yeah. Thank you.
Well, I've got a short list. First, so glad to see Bae Gammons here. She's been away for several years. She grew up in this church, and I love you. I'm so proud of you and this awesome woman you've become. So that filled my heart with so much love and joy this morning. Couple of concerns, little prayer going out for healing for my stepdad, Charlie. He's just getting older, as we all are, and struggling with some things. And we have a few people to say a prayer for this week that have passed away. My friend June Crowley, who was Chuck and Sue, if you know Chuck and Sue from Gallery X, that's Sue's mom. And she just passed away. And I've got an email that a patience gardener that was ordained in this church passed away this past week as well. And I'm very sorry to have to tell you that Fred Giffen, our dear friend and longtime member of this church, passed away on January 2nd. And I had a long talk with Evelyn yesterday. She's doing okay, but the world's gonna miss all those folks, that's for sure. So I'm gonna light some candles for them. Supportive and loving place like this to share their goes out to my dad. I love you, and I miss you. And now we have a responsive reading, an invocation to Liberating Love by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. I will say the parts in plain print if you will answer with the bold. Buildings speak, not in voices of stone, but in the hum of conversation, of flesh and bone gathering. Almost we hear birds wrenching free of their cages. Walls so defining hold us fast. Until there is a sky, blue, unending. Judgments wither like cut flowers then. Now let us enter into a time of prayer and meditation. This is called Power Prayer by Becky Brooks. Spirit of life, I have witnessed a loud love, an out loud love that challenges me. I did not recognize it at first, the rumble of an ocean I had long been under. But here it is right now, and it looks just like the whole world could be. It doesn't play nice. Why should it, when nice has only ever played it a lullaby? This love demands a love so loud it lays rocks at the feet of children who can't find their path home. This love is indifferent to tolerance. It invites you into your own heart, where God, love self, has come to take tea with you. Drink and know that like that other love, this love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Perseveres. This out loud love makes no secret of its aim to get you free. But first, set fires, throw poison to the ground, match the love sound for sound. Spirit of life, come and bring everyone. We're giving birth to something new. Amen, and so may it be. The second reading this morning is the reflection on the Article 2 graphic with love at its center, and that graphic is printed on the cover of your order of service. At the center of this image is love, that heart of universalism, that eternal and all-conquering force. Around it and from it flows values that express that love. This love that sits at the center of this image is not sentimental love or romantic love. It is the love we grow in our communities, a deep and abiding love that affirms our worth no matter what we do or don't achieve or believe. This love is a belief in ourselves and in one another that nothing can rip us apart. This love affirms our interdependence. It is a love that says we all deserve to be loved, whether we have been hurt or have hurt others. For some of us, the love at the center of this image includes a divine love that holds on tenderly and tightly. It is a fierce, protective, liberating love. It is a hopeful love, a love that inspires people of goodwill and sacrificial spirit to overcome evil and to make this earth as heavenly as possible. Just and equitable, pluralistic, affirming all peoples of all nations, all races, all creeds. Ours is and always has been a heretical faith, a courageous faith, a covenantal faith, and a faith that calls us to work with that all-conquering, liberating love to make this earth a heaven. And now, rise as you are willing and able and sing with me our second hymn, which is printed in your order of service. You might know this song. Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da da, la da da da, la da da. I love seeing so many people smile. Well, now we've got another little special musical treat. So if you were here for my ordination, you will remember that for one thing, we sang that first hymn that we sang this morning, Wake Now My Senses. I got to sing this, but I wanted to sing Rainbow Connection with everybody. It's just too much fun, and it fills us with so much love and happiness that you just want to share it. And I'm going to share with you some more love and happiness from my ordination. And it's a song we don't get to hear in church very often. And the words are printed on a separate little sheet if you guys want to sing along with our offertory music. We now ask you for your very kind donations toward the many good works of this church. Thank you. Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Thank you, Randy. I know that song's a lot of work to pull off. So do you know why I had Randy play Bohemian Rhapsody today? Like I said, it's not really a song you often listen to when you go to church. But I'll tell you, I love it, and the theme is love. So here we go. And on New Year's Eve, as the clock struck midnight, my husband had already gone to bed, and I was feeling a little alone for the event. So I decided I would watch my ordination from last year to remind me of the vows of service that I took that day. But what really came through for me was the love in this room that day, that I could feel there and then for sure, but I could also feel it so strongly as I was watching the video. And when Randy played Bohemian Rhapsody, on the video, you just see him playing the organ, but there was a multitude of voices that were trickling up from the pews, singing together a song that I love, and Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Nothing like 100 voices singing that, except maybe the Raposa section over here. You guys were right on. Yes, it was just pure delight. And I was so overwhelmed with the love and happiness that song brought to people, so I decided if I was going to do a service about liberating love, it had to include some of the music from that day. So you're welcome. I love that we get to do this kind of thing in our church. I love that I know in my heart that I am never alone, that I always have this congregation. I have you to love, and you love me, and I love that. That kind of love is indeed liberating. And that's our theme this month, liberating love. Our second reading reminds us that we are a courageous faith that calls us to work with that all-conquering, liberating love. So back in September, at the start of our church year, we started talking about the proposed changes that our UUA denomination was going to be making, possibly, to our Article 2 section of our bylaws. And that's the part that describes our principles and values and the sources of inspiration that inform our faith. Right now, that includes the 8 principles that we live by. They're on that little card in your pew. And this new version basically takes those principles out. But we aren't getting rid of them. We're sprucing them up for the world we live in now. We have a mandate in our faith to undertake this work of updating our bylaws every 10 years or so, and we are sorely overdue. And at first I was a little resistant to the changes they want to make. I like our principles. They've always been around, right? That's what I've leaned on for many years, like so many other people. And of course, like a lot of other people, I tend to think, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But having been involved in these discussions at General Assembly for the last 2 years, I realized that for a lot of people, those principles don't do enough to include them, or they forget a bunch of things that have become really important in our ever-changing world. But maybe the biggest seller for me was that visual that's on the cover of your order of service. And I'm glad that they specifically wanted to make the representation of our values visual so that we can all process that information in a different way. The coolest thing for me, though, was that love is at the center of it all and connects everything else. Putting love front and center, I think, is the essence of most spiritual beliefs. There are no gods without love. There is no connection without love, and how we connect is what makes our world what it is, right? Right now, many parts of our world are in turmoil. Why is that? What do you think happens when we dehumanize one another? We break a connection. When we preach hate for anyone, we are breaking connections. We are breaking our own hearts. We are pushing against the one thing that could save us, that could liberate us all: love. Across many denominations, we are taught the one-word answer for what is God? What is God, people? Love. Of course it's love. From the smallest love to the largest love, it changes us. It makes us better people, physically, mentally, and spiritually. From the delight in the delicate beauty of a flower, or the powerful sound of an ocean, or singing a favorite song with friends, when you squeeze it out, you squeeze out a ton of love in that one little moment, in those tiny moments, right? And in those big moments in life, when love is dancing at the center, dancing for us, births and marriages, graduations, ordinations. All of that connects us to the divine in singular and meaningful ways. Love lifts our spirits. We can feel it. And it also really does great things for our brains and our bodies. So I prescribe love in liberal doses, people. Let me return to loving our church for a moment, because next week the Long Range Planning Committee will be presenting the results of a year's worth of meetings to this congregation. And you might have gotten one of these with your order of service. I suggest you take it home and look it over. A lot of work went into it. And just like the Unitarian Universalist Association, our church needs to take a look at ourselves every now and again and have some hard conversations about how we do things, where we've been, where we're going, and how we can improve. This is good work. This is important work. And it's work born out of love for this church. I hope as many of you as possible will attend and help us guide this community of seekers into the next generation, keeping in mind that we must always lead with love. Without the interdependent web, without the connection to each other, without the love, we will fail. But I know how much love is right here in this church, my brothers and sisters. And I know we are ready to listen and work and move toward a bright future here. I want to send some love out into the universe right now for Fred Giffen, who passed away on January 2nd, as I said. Now, many of our members remember Fred. He literally wrote the book on our church. I put it down here. It's called the New Bedford's Church. But we have a lot of new visitors and members since Fred lived here, so I'm sure there are several of you that didn't know Fred. But did you know that every time you visit, you invoke Fred's spirit when you read our church's covenant? Fred wrote that. Our committee tweaked it a little bit, but it was mostly Fred. Our church's current mission and vision statements. Guess who wrote those too? Fred. Fred served multiple times as a member of the board or a chair of the board. He was on every committee imaginable. He led several search committees for new ministers. He sang in the choir. He even played piano when Randy wasn't here sometimes. And for our holiday fair, he would sing. He would play so people could sing some carols out in the parish hall. Fred had a deep consciousness and a sharp intellect. We had long talks about history and religion and spiritual practices. He gave a 6-week course here at church on world religions that I attended long before I ever thought I would end up in seminary. And when I was in seminary, Fred was one of the people that I would often consult with on one thing or another, some question that I knew it would just be quicker and I would get better information by calling Fred Giffen rather than Googling it. I'd do the same with Judy Lund over here. There's some things that only some people know, and it's much easier to go right to the source. He also had a huge institutional knowledge of this church, and we are so fortunate that he wrote us a book to keep this information alive. And that is a rare gift. Most institutional knowledge comes and goes like that. Fred has left us something incredible. We love him for it. Fred was a good friend and mentor to me. We served on so many committees together, I would be very hard-pressed to remember them all. He was incredibly supportive of my journey in seminary, and when in late July of 2015 our prior minister resigned, it was Fred who convinced the board to give me a chance to guide this old ship. My first year was an internship, and I was called the Coordinator of Ministerial Services. We totally made that up, just because we had to give me some sort of title, and it couldn't really be minister yet, but, you know, I had to stand up here, so we had to call me something. Luckily, we had Dr. Crystal Lubinsky from UMass, who was conveniently a member of our church at the time, so she was my advisor for my internship. But mostly, I had to wing it. I was tossed into the deep end of the pool. Luckily, I'm a pretty good swimmer, and I had the love and the support of this congregation. I never would have been able to pull this off anywhere else. I really don't think so. I loved this congregation, and they showed me how much they loved me. And that is a recipe for success, my friends. I was here as a member through many various ministers, all thoroughly trained by the UUA approved schools and put through the rigors of fellowship. And they all had their good qualities, for sure. But maybe I knew something that they don't teach at seminary. I knew that what this congregation needed more than anything, especially at such a tough time, what we had needed for a really long time to right this ship was someone who really loved us. And that was easy for me, because I have always loved this church. It's in my bones now. I love that I get to love and serve this congregation and that my community. I love that I get to write cool sermons and pick weird church music if I feel like it. That's an awesome power. And I love that I have Fred Giffen to thank for this opportunity, that he saw something in me that he loved. It's a connection that will never be severed as long as I live and as long as this church stands. I am very proud to be, at this moment, the longest serving minister here since the mid-1990s. I continue to love this church dearly and deeply, and its people more every day, more every week. This only gets better. And I ask you, my friends, to keep loving it too, because that is what is going to keep this church alive, our love for it, our love for each other. Fred's going to be watching over us, and he's going to inspire us, as so many of our ancestors of this church do. So come listen next week. Think about how you can love this church in your own individual ways. What can you bring on deck to keep this ship sailing? And in the new year, as we face so much conflict in our own country and all over the world, it is more important than ever to lead with love and starve the hate that brings so much destruction. Love is a superpower. There is so much hate to defeat if we want to save the world. If we want to stop having our hearts broken by the news every day. And I'll tell you, church, for every moment we choose not to love one another, we will be locked into a prison of our own making. Love is the key that releases us from that prison. It always has been. Love is the force that liberates us. Love sets us free to connect with each other and with the divine. Love dances in the center of all things. So put out your hand and join the dance. Go forth, my friends. Show each other how it's done, how we love. Go free and liberate others. So may it be. Amen. What do we have? We have our closing hymn. Number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Inside us, will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace is trials, hope inside us, lead the way on the road from love will guide us through the hard night. May you fall madly in love this year, in love with someone who unhinges your tired trajectory, in love with a spouse of many years who might be aching for lightning, in love with demanding children and crazy relatives, in love with the particular pedigree of genius insanity that has perhaps claimed you in spite of your reluctance. I love that. And certainly in love with an animal, a cloud, a redwood, the wild, at least once a day. May you fall in love with this fragile jewel of a world, with hard work, real learning, just causes, petitioning, and prayers. May you fall in love with wonder itself, with the grand mystery, with all that feeds you in order so that you may live, and seeing how it stitched everything together. May you fall in love with the natural order of things, and with tears, tenderness, and humility. May this be a magnificent year for you. May you fall deeply, madly, hopelessly, inextinguishably in love. Hold fast, my church. We love you. Stay strong. Live long and prosper. Go in peace. Spread the love, people. Spread the love.